Namaste. Sarve bhavantu sukhina sarve santu nirat. May all be happy and healthy in the world. With this positive note, let us further decode Swami Vivekananda's book, Meditation and Methods. Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda used to talk about practical meditation. So, in one of the response to question of Swami Sudhananda asked, what is the real nature of meditation? Swami Vivekananda responded, meditation is focusing your mind on some object. Of course, we are talking about focusing, paying attention to some object is meditation. If the mind acquires concentration on one object, it can be so concentrated on any object whatsoever. The object may be anything whatsoever, but if you practice paying attention, practice focusing on one object, that ability will always keep increasing. So one of the disciples further asked question. Mention is made in the scriptures of two kinds of meditation. One having some object and other objectless. Disciple asks that, paying attention or focusing on object as well as objectless, this what we read in scriptures. What is mean by all that, of which two is higher one? Swamiji responded. Swamiji says that you have to begin with focusing on object. The practice of meditation has to proceed with some one object before the mind. You have to begin with, practice will begin with paying attention to some object. Once I used to concentrate my mind on some black point, Swami Vivekananda used to say, he started focusing on some black point, and then ultimately after some days, he could not even see that point anymore. That point he could not see anymore. Imagine, think about the focus, think about concentration, think about attention. The person is so immersed in that object becomes invisible. Object becomes a kind of objectless. There you feel mind used to be no more, no wave of functioning could arise. You'll feel that tranquility, calmness in your mind. And you'll also experience that, oh, mind is there or not. I can completely experience objectless and immerse into that spiritual power, immerse into that immense power where I feel rest, at very rest, peace, tranquility, calmness. And I'm, free from all bondages, attachments. That experience will be brought when your meditation reaches to this stage. I used to experience glimpses of super sensuous truth. Imagine, there comes the situation where you can experience glimpses about super sensuous truth. So I think practice of meditation, even with some trifling external object, that leads to mental concentration. The idea is you can start focusing on any object. That may be a trifling external object, that may be a distracting object. Just paying attention to that object, your power enhances, and sometimes you'll experience that object as the object is. This is the reason why we have in our country, we worship the images of gods and goddesses. Swami Vivekananda responds. He had tremendous respect, tremendous obeisance for all the gods and goddesses. But he used to say, this is one of the reasons we pray, we worship our gods and goddesses. Their real objective is to make mind functionless. Begin with paying attention to that object. Begin with paying attention to that god and goddesses. And after some time, you will feel completely functionless. This cannot be got unless one becomes absorbed in the same object. Absorbed in the same object. disciple further asks, but if the mind becomes completely engrossed, immersed, identified with some object, how it can give us the consciousness of Brahman, the super spiritual power? Swami Vivekananda used to say, yes. The response, yes. Though the mind at first assumes the form of object, the journey begins with the object, yet later on consciousness of that object vanishes, that consciousness is gone, then only the experience of purity, the experience of pure is realized, is demonstrated. This is what is a very simple, very effective, very pragmatic way of doing meditation by Swami Vivekananda in this book, Meditation and its Methods. Thank you so much. Hope this helps to all those who are trying to meditate and paying attention to something, some object or some activity with more concentration, more abilities, and attempting to realize the purity, attempting to realize the full potential of oneself. Thank you so much. Namaste. Sarve bhavantu sakhina sarve santu ram.